Yo, what's good? What's good, everybody? We are outside, and this webcam just really—it's like massively bright. I wish there was a way to just kind of mess around with the video feed and just kind of lower it down some, but there's really not. It's probably one of the things that I don't like about Restream. Yeah. So sorry that it's like, I guess I look blown out. I don't know how the video playback is going to be, but I look blown out in this, but I apologize. I'm using the webcam that I used on the last stream just because I thought that the visuals were so much better than the actual stock camera. So yeah, I figured I would use it. I don't know. Let me see. Let me just kind of play around with something, okay? Just play around with something really quickly. So just bear with me. Technical difficulties playing around. Not just because the sun is out. It's like right there. It's like the weirdest thing ever. It was cold through the night. It's cool this morning, but you can definitely feel the heat from the sun as my city is heating up. It is hot here, but it is what it is. Anyways, so I got lots to talk about on this podcast. I'm going to be talking about the Pixel 6a, obviously the Pixel Watch, the main thing that I am looking to go after, and then the Pixel Fold. What to expect at Google I/O 2022. And then kind of give you guys an update on the Amaze Fitbit U Pro fitness tracker, all that. But hold on, let me just see if like the native camera works great. So just bear with me. I shall return in a sec. Let me just kind of switch cameras here. All right, to not play around with it anymore, I'm just going to leave the webcam on there just because either way, I guess it's just, the lighting from the sun today just is so powerful and intense that it's just going to blow out no matter which camera I use. And setting up in a different spot is going to take some time. So, I'm just going to roll with it. Hopefully you guys can bear with it too as well. But, I mean, best thing I could probably do is just shut the camera off and just do a complete audio. If we just do it like this, I don't know. I don't know how that's working out. Oh, let's keep the video feed. It is what it is. Anyways, all right, let's get into it, okay? Let's get into my thoughts, my speculations. Again, these are just my speculations for what to expect when each of these devices drop. When we're talking Pixel 6a, so we're going to talk about that one first. I'm going to lead off with that one because that one, I think so. Like I've done a video or a live stream. I forgot which one it was. In my old age, I'm getting forgetful. But I did a video and I was literally talking about, which, if I had to deal with one or the other, not deal with it like it's in bad sense, but just, if one of them had to go, if one side or the other of the table had to go, which one would I prefer to actually remain, like to be here, to stay here? And that would be the Pixel A series. And the reason why I say that is because the Pixel A series has been pretty consistent when it comes to, their devices that they put out. I mean, majority of the A series devices, which is actually, 2 out of the 4, they did pretty good, right? The Pixel 5a had a slight issue. That had to do with recording in 4K, 60 frames. Oh my gosh, you can hear my dog from inside the house. But yeah, 60 frames, 4K, the phone overheated. And that was from what a lot of people were reporting. So just, imagine what my frustration is going to be, because my city, the outdoor temperatures 80% of the year is freaking hot. Like I said, right now the sun is so bright that it's blowing out the image of this video feed. And what's funny is that this side of my face is feeling the heat already. And it's only 7:21 a.m. in the morning, and it's already hot. We're not even into like getting towards noon, and it's already hot. So you can imagine my frustration with the Pixel 5a. Trying to shoot B-roll footage outside is a task and a half. Like I literally keep a really ice cold bottle of water with me, not for drinking. That bottle of water is specifically for the Pixel 5a. If I'm shooting video outside and it starts to overheat, that's how I cool the phone down. Crazy as it is, but that's how I do it. And I have to do that in my city because of the way that the weather and temperature is here in my city. It's going to vary differently, but that's probably one of the caveats to any of the A series devices that has ever been like such a mass problem that, people were like thoroughly upset with it. The music sounds so sketchy right now. But anyways, yeah, so with that, the 5A is probably the only one that really just had like a major, I don't want to say bug, but it's an issue. And, for a lot of us who pretty much looks at the schematics for like how the Pixel 5a is built, we obviously think that the way it's built probably is the reason why like a lot of the heat gets trapped where the processor chip is laid out, where a lot of the internal components are. It doesn't seem like it allows the device to breathe well, to disperse heat away from the processor chip, which then causes issues. So that's our speculation. Like I said, I'm not saying it's gospel, but that's just the speculation on the Pixel 5a. So, but other than that, the Pixel 3a, when it launched, to me, in my opinion, as soon as it launched, I ordered one, I got it. I already had the Pixel 3. And I compared them both side by side, and to me, I found no differences. Like, I mean, people will look for differences to really say, and if it's like the most obvious type differences, like, oh, this is made out of plastic. Well, no, duh, you're gonna know that that's plastic. But when I was comparing the 3 to the 3A, I was comparing user experience, how it interacted with the things that I wanted it to do, and to be quite honest, it did well. It did so well that I literally told people, like, I don't see a significant, huge difference between the 3A and the Pixel 3. Although when people would be like, yeah, but performance is going to be super different because the 800 series chip in the 3 and the 600 series chip in the 3A. And while that should have been, it just showed how well Android was optimized on the 3A because it performed like butter when I was using it. Until today, I have the 3A. My son is using my Pixel 3A, and that phone still kicks major ass in the market. Not in the market, but like with usage, it still kicks major butt. It still does fairly well. You can't really complain. I would. Like now, all these leaves are gonna fall on me because the wind kicked up and it's knocking all these leaves out of the tree. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even realize that, but there's like these little caterpillar thingies that are like, shoot. Weird. That's the stuff that I see. Anyways, the 3A kicked major ass. It kicked major ass compared to the Pixel 3, right? And we're talking a significant, huge difference. You know what I mean? $400 basically for the 3A. $800 for the Pixel 3. So the next year, we really wanted things to kind of maintain that trend. Pixel 7, when? October 2022. Every October, a new Pixel is going to drop. Let's just put it that way. Like, Google's got that month on lock. But when the 4A came, a lot of people were just hoping that Google would maintain that same formula that they did with the 3A, and they did, but also surprised everybody because the 4A released $50 cheaper than the 3A did at launch. It came out at $349. And to be quite honest, a lot of people that were choosing between the three devices released in 2020, so that was the 4A, the 4A 5G, and the 5. People really kind of went towards the 4A, even though it lacked 5G connectivity. That was 2 years ago. That was when 5G was kind of like in its infancy, kind of moving along. Today, there's, people will be like, there's no reason for you to have an LTE device today when there's been a lot of different devices that are 5G capable that's been pushed out in the mid-range and flagship markets. But the 4A still had people's eye. People still got it. I mean, yes, there was the 4A 5G, which was a much bigger phone. It had a lot of the internal components of what the Pixel 5 had, but with the build quality of the Pixel 4A. So you had the polycarbonate body, but you had the dual cameras in the back. You had a bigger battery. You had the Snapdragon 765G in the 4A 5G. In the Pixel 4A, you had the 730G. So it had a very, it had a different 700 series chip in it. But the 4A performed very, very well. It was smooth. Android was very optimized in it, So, they carried on with that A series. And then the 4A 5G, if you wanted 5G connectivity, if you wanted it a bit more of a power in your processing chip, right? The 765G has a bit more power than the 730G, but the 730G was no slouch at all whatsoever. It was very well optimized and very, very good. Pixel, we're talking about Google I/O. So Pixel 6a is gonna be announced at Google I/O next week. We also got the Pixel Watch probably being teased, or if not, surprisingly unveiled at I/O. And then later on this year, apparently there's supposed to be a Pixel Fold that's probably going to launch alongside the Pixel 7, but we'll get into all that in a little while. But going back to the Pixel 6a. So yeah, the 4A launched, the 4A 5G, if you wanted 5G connectivity, a bit more power, a bit more battery life, and you wanted the ultra wide camera sensor that came with that, but you didn't want to pay close to what the Pixel 5 was. So there's those things that you have to take into consideration, right, for 2020's A series, right? In 2021, the Pixel 5a released, and it kind of stepped away from the polycarbonate body design to, I guess you would say, aluminum body with like a coating that made it feel polycarbonate, but it's not plastic. The 5a is not plastic at all whatsoever. It is a metal build design. And it still maintained, the same look of the 4A 5G, slightly bigger display, but it brought in water and dust resistance, right? So the 4A 5G and older A series devices were not water resistant, or they didn't have the IP rating. The 5A finally got a rating for water and dust resistance, and I think it was IP67, water and dust resistance. So therefore, that's what was new to the table, right? And it still maintained a low budget cost price, right? $449. That was the cost of the Pixel 5a. So now we got the Pixel 6a, and there's going to be a big leap in the A series as far as what we're getting, because what we're getting, we're getting a slightly smaller display than the Pixel 6. So going from 6.4 down to 6.2 inches. So not a significant difference, but it is slightly smaller, so the body frame and everything might slightly be smaller. You also have to factor in that it is going to be running Google Tensor. So the Tensor chip is going to be in the Pixel 6a, and I don't see them going with another Snapdragon 600 series or a Snapdragon 700 series. This is like a good way for Google to really just kind of the remaining Tensor chips that they have in stock while they're developing the Tensor 2. Because yes, the Tensor 2 is in development. It is codenamed Cloud Ripper. But the original Tensor, which was a Whitechapel, that one, they probably got leftover stock. So instead of wasting it, throw it into the Pixel 6a so it gets the same features that the 6 and 6 Pro has. And there are features that are reliant on the Tensor chip that the Qualcomm chip is not going to provide. Is the other reason why that they, in my opinion, would not put another Qualcomm chip in an A series device, right? You got things like Magic Eraser, you got all these little nifty Google-eccentric features that make sense using the Tensor chip in it in order to achieve that level of smartness in a smartphone, right? Now that's what the Pixels are. If nobody knows, the Pixels are smartphones. That's what they are. They are intelligent smartphones. Right? You can have a smartphone, you can have a Huawei, you can have a Xiaomi, and all of them, they're smart in what they do. Email, social media, media playback, music, live streaming capabilities, right? And then you got the intelligent smartphone, the Pixel, which makes life easier for those people who want easy in their life, right? Being able to keep an ongoing phone call active without you having to be on it until a live rep gets on the phone, right? Hold for me, probably one of the most badass features ever made, right? Call screening, a fan favorite, right? Avoid all those bogus, bullshit phone calls when you got your phone being able to screen if it's spam or if it's an actual legit business or one of your contacts calling you. I only wish that if the spam was calling, I really wish it was actually spam. No, you didn't miss anything, John. So what are my thoughts with the 6A? Like, what do I think that is going to be brought to the table? I think, me personally, this is me spitballing, but I feel like it is going to bring everything that you have in a Pixel 6 with a scaled down body. So I don't think they're going back to polycarbonate, but I do think they're going back to maybe metal, like the Pixel 5A. Carrying on the same design language of the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, so having that camera bar on the top back of it. And I'm hoping that they bring more colors, right? How great would it be if they had like 5 specific colors for the Pixel A series, I'm going to go on a whim and say that it's going to have a similar battery to the Pixel 6, but possibly like as far as like battery life be to the Pixel 6 or maybe the 6 Pro, but yeah, the battery size may be just a slight bit smaller. I would say maybe 200 to maybe 500 milliamps smaller than the Pixel 6, but that's only because I don't see them doing 90 hertz refresh on the Pixel 6A. I know some people are going to get pissed and say, oh my God, why would you even assume that? Like 90 hertz should be the standard. And you know what? Kudos. Cool to you. 90 hertz refresh should be the standard in today's phones, right? Because we have a lot of flagships releasing with 120 hertz refresh rate. So why not 90 hertz, which is in the middle between 60 and 120, right? And if it was 90 hertz, I really wouldn't have a problem. I have devices that have 90 hertz refresh rate, and there is a slight smoothness to it when scrolling, and it's functional in certain applications. You can really see what people are talking about, the dynamics of 90 hertz refresh. But there are times where like I look at an app or I'm doing something on my phone and I have smooth display on my pixels with 90 hertz refresh turned on, and it's not a drastic difference. It's not a huge difference at all whatsoever. And so for that, I'll say that, yeah, it doesn't really bother me. But to each his own. Other people would say, yeah, it has to have a 90 hertz refresh, and if it does, that's going to be amazing. But I don't see it having 90 hertz refresh or 120 hertz, especially 120 hertz. Like anyone that's thinking like it's going to have that, obviously go get a flagship, because the whole purpose of the 6A is to bring as much of the experience you would get in a Pixel 6 or 6 Pro to a budget version, the 6A. As far as the screen itself, I do feel like that they will go with some sort of AMOLED display. Obviously, it's really going to help out with that battery, especially if the battery is going to be just a tad bit smaller than the Pixel 6's battery. To get good battery optimization, obviously, you're going to want to have, where your blacks are deep and enriched, but not lit up by pixel bulbs. So therefore, shutting off a pixel bulb, creating the color black, is much more power efficient than actually trying to replicate that color of black through a pixel bulb. And yeah, there are tiny little pixels on the display itself, and yeah, that's how the Super AMOLED displays are. That's why they're so good with battery. As far as like all the other stuff, when it comes to it, we already know that they're still going to use the same camera sensors that they've used in the Pixel 3 and on up. So the main camera sensor in the back, the Sony IMX363, I believe it is rock with. They're not good with the Samsung sensor that's found in the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, which is a 50 megapixel Samsung camera. I just mixed them together, Samra. But yeah, they're not going to go with that. So we're pretty much well aware of that. Battery share, I don't think it's going to be a thing. Wireless charging, I don't think it's going to be on there. I don't think it's going to be made of glass. If it is made of glass, holy smokes, then we're in for an entire wild time. What up, Chad? What's going on? we'll be in for an entire wild ride if they actually make it of glass the same as the 6 and 6 Pro. But then, to me, by doing that would elevate the price. And here's the thing. If Google hits this thing, I mean, well, they can't. They can't. Or they're going to undercut their Pixel 6 if they do, right? Because the Pixel 6, sub 6 5G version launched at $599. If you want the millimeter wave version, it launched at $699. So this, base model wise, for those people that don't absolutely have to have a need for millimeter wave, literally, they can't price this thing at $599 because it would so totally undercut the Pixel 6. I read the Pixel 6a's battery was actually going to be larger than the Pixel 6. If it is, that's great. I'm not going to complain for a bigger battery size. I'm looking at ways on how Google's going to bring the Pixel 6a to us and keep it at hopefully $449, right? But it could go up by $50. It could be $499 for the Pixel 6a, $599 for the Pixel 6 sub 6 version, $699 for the Pixel 6 millimeter wave version, and then was it $8 or $999 for the Pixel 6 Pro, depending on storage variant. So, I mean, that's just, my thoughts on the Pixel 6a. I really see it kind of maintaining it. And that's the way that the A series line is going to remain make some sort of an effect in the mobile market, is by them kind of just still replicating everything that the A series embodied from the very beginning with slight, modernized, updated hardware and features. And a lot of that is going to be feature-wise, and a lot of that is going to be tied to the Tensor chip. All right, so now let's kind of switch tracks here. Let's go on the Pixel Watch, the piece of hardware made by Google that I am absolutely waiting on. Yes, yesterday I unboxed an Amaze Fitbit U Pro. It's a fitness tracker, and I'm into going to the gym, losing weight and such, and so this really kind of helps. It checks my blood oxygen levels, which I'll get into a little bit more about the watch and what I think about it after 24 hours here in a little bit. But the Pixel Watch is what I'm really, really, really interested in, only because there are slight things about the watch that I'm really looking forward to. Eric, what's up? What's going on? Good morning. There are some things that I'm actually absolutely looking forward to with this, right? And one of the main things is fitness. Fitness is one of the big key things that I'm looking for with the Pixel Watch. I am not like everyone else that is looking at the Pixel Watch to make it compete against the Apple Watch. I can care less if it competes with the Apple Watch. If it doesn't compete with the Apple Watch, I don't care. Good morning, boo. Hugs. Watch out. Don't knock that over. Morning. I'll be in a little while. Yeah. Anyways, so the Pixel Watch, I'm not looking at it to compete against the Apple Watch. I don't care if it does. I don't care which is better. What I'm looking at is how this watch is going to benefit me, the consumer, right? A person who really, really digs the Pixel lineup. And shout out to B-Tech Review for yesterday. I guess Mark Wim, who's like the spokesperson and the person that gathers up people for Team Pixel, tweeted out that famous question again: who should he look at? And Mike from B-Tech Reviews referred me to them. It doesn't mean I'm getting on Team Pixel. He just referred me to him, right? Doesn't mean that the guy came to my channel and actually watched my stuff or even cared. So I'm not even worried about it. But I just want to give a shout out to him and to Gene, both of them over there, representing for me. And I'm not even pushing it full time, but you know what? If I get on, hey, that's great news. And then you guys get, some more Pixel unboxings and Pixel reviews, but they will all stay to my thoughts. No one controls me. But anyways, so with the Pixel Watch, what I am looking for, fitness, right? And Google acquired Fitbit. We know this. So they should have what it takes and what they need to bring a smartwatch that is fitness eccentric, No, Boost Mobile did not fix my SIM card issue. I gave up on Boost Mobile. Right now, I'm not even focused on that. So, but I appreciate you asking. But yeah, Boost is it's still in the shits. Let's just put it that way for what they did. And they did it to my Solera 5G too, you know. So they put my Solera 5G on another account for some damn reason. Shame on Boost Mobile for that. But anyways, Pixel Watch, fitness eccentric. That's where it needs to be for me as a consumer. Now, yes, having all the, the fun little quirks, like, the things that you get out of Wear OS, totally fine, right? A lot of people are really speculating that the Pixel Watch is going to be nearly identical to the, the Galaxy Watch 4, or the Samsung Gear 4, whatever name they have for it. They think it's gonna be like absolutely similar as far as like user experience to that. And there's not really much that you can do with a smartwatch outside of just like what they are known to do, right? And there are two basic things that a smartwatch does. One is give you notifications on the fly, right? Being able to get notifications on your wrist so you're not taking your phone out of your pocket unless you absolutely need to. That's one of the main things that the smartwatch is for. The other thing that has been new in the last couple of years, heavy pushed by Apple, is health and fitness, right? Being able to track your heart rate, being able to track your blood oxygen levels. Hell, the future of the Apple Watch is geared towards, helping diabetics, being able to monitor glucose levels on a different way without having to prick yourself all the time and draw blood from your fingers. And you know what? Google can adopt the same thing. So my focus here is not to see which watch is better. I could care less, if the Apple Watch is amazing and soars to new heights and dominates the, I like to call them the satellite hardware, because it's like a satellite, your phone's a planet, watch satellite. Anyways, I don't care who wins. I just want the Pixel Watch to be able to do something that I need it to do on many different levels. Track my fitness when I go to the gym and work out, track my sleep to make sure I'm getting adequate sleep, because being diabetic, you really do need to get a good amount of sleep. It really does affect how your body performs the very next day. Track my heart rate, make sure that my heart's ticking good. I'm pushing 40 here in about 3 months. I'll be 40 years old, hitting the big 4-0. And then, obviously give me notifications so I can check my messages at work, where my phone usually stays in my desk, so I can get notifications on the watch. Be able to respond from my watch would be absolutely amazing. And I'll obviously tell the time. I don't need to pull my phone out and check my phone to find out what time it is. Just look at my watch and I know what time it is. That's what I want out of the Pixel Watch. Now, with the design leaks from John Prosser to the person who left a testing unit at a restaurant of all places, I am absolutely whoa. Are there watches with built-in CGM? I would say so. So, I know that's what this, this, I'll go over this here at the end of the live stream, because I am going to talk about the Amaze Fitbit U Pro. There's not really much of a difference between the U and the U Pro. Not really much. I looked it up. And it was funny. I ordered this on Amazon and it was same day delivery yesterday. And I just found out that my local Walmart here carries these. I could have just went to Walmart and bought it. But then again, I got this cheaper than what Walmart was selling it for. So I guess it's a win. The other one, which is an early Mother's Day gift to my kid's mom. It's no secret. I am a single dad now. And but me and her get along just fine. We are co-parenting to raise the kids and everything. And yeah, so I got her, she's into health and fitness too. So I got her one of these, but a pink one that's coming today from Amazon for her early Mother's Day gift. But anyway, that's for an entirely different topic. So, but anyways, yeah. That's all I want from the Pixel Watch, really. Track my fitness, be my assistant into my journey of losing weight. I am hoping by December this year, I am unrecognizable I'm not trying to be skinny like a twig, but I am really trying to get myself down to about 130 to 135 pounds, which I should be at for my height. I'm only 5'4". I'm a very small person. So, you know, being at 171, because I'm at 171 now. When I started my weight loss journey, I was at 185 pounds, and I've dropped down to 171, and I'm continuing to push. I'm trying to break into the 160s and then into the 150s. When I hit 150, that's where I'm gonna hit the ground running, because that's where I'm gonna get from 150 to 130 really quick without killing myself in the process. But a watch that's able to help me track and log, you know, catalog my fitness regimen, you know, is a wonderful thing. Being able to get notifications, wonderful thing. I don't need it to have a camera. I've seen some chat forums where people were just being really, really extra with it. Like, they're like, oh, it doesn't have a camera. Like, how badass would it be? You can't call it a Pixel watch without a camera. Yes, you fucking can. You can call it. Pixel is the line from Google, right? It's like Nexus was. But yeah, it doesn't. I don't need it to have a camera. I'm not Dick Tracy that's trying to fucking spy on people. I don't need to snap photos of people. Yeah. Especially at my job. If that watch had a camera on it, my job would not let me wear it to work. There's no way, because I deal with a lot of people's sensitive information that they're just not going to take that chance risking it. So with that being said, and it's a little tiny caterpillar that just fell from the tree. But with that being said, that's all I really want out of the Pixel watch. I don't care if it's better than the Apple Watch or not. I don't care. I know some people love to take tech from different brands and make them compete, and that's for the sake of showing you guys like how the item is going to behave for a user experience, and then you, the consumer, can make the decision of which one comes closest to what you want out of said item. That's all it really is. But there's not to really say one is going to be better than the other one. There are already people who are talking about, well, this is Google, and Google doesn't get things right on the first time, so expect it to be horrible. I like to think that the glass is half full than half empty. So as long as it gives me my notifications, gives me the time, and can track my fitness and my health data, then I'm totally cool. Hey, the caterpillar lives. He's moving. I'm going to let him chill. He's going to walk right across from where my microphone is at. And it's just so cool watching him just like roll. Caterpillars are awesome. It'll eventually become a butterfly. I wish I could like point the camera down so you guys can see it, but like this Lenovo webcam is, in my opinion, pretty damn good. No. That way. He was going towards the edge of the table. Anyways, let's move on to the Pixel Fold, right? This one I'm out of touch with. I haven't really looked into the Pixel Fold, other than to say that the Pixel, he fell on me. Okay, dude. Wait. Yeah, you gotta go. Okay. Pixel Fold. Sorry, a caterpillar like landed on me, so I got him to the ground. That way he could just like roam around and get some food. Pixel Fold. The Pixel Fold to me is more of a novelty. And I know those who are like absolute advocates of foldable technology are probably going to want to rip my head off for that. I'm not saying that it doesn't have a purpose here in this world. And I'm not saying love the random nature mode. I'm outside, right? And I guess you can say in the concrete jungle of this city. Yeah, you can say that, you know, there's wildlife, bugs. Anyways, yeah, so the Pixel Fold, I'm not saying that it's not a necessity to some people. I'm not saying that it doesn't serve a purpose. It absolutely does. Being able to transform your smartphone into a micro tablet, mini tablet, however big it's going to be, that's a pretty cool thing. I won't downplay that at all whatsoever, but there's not an absolute, like, you have to have it or you can't have smart technology at all. It's just another form, you know, of getting that technology and the media that is involved with it delivered to you. You know, how cool would it be to be able to fold your phone into a micro laptop and watch YouTube and have a keyboard to crush on when you have it partially folded open, to having it completely folded open where it's a micro tablet, to having it closed where it's a phone. And you know what? Like Samsung has the foldable market on lock, right? We have other companies like Huawei and I believe Xiaomi did a foldable. I'm not mistaken. If it ever came to the US, I don't think it did. There are other companies that are really hitting it. I think Blue is hitting on the foldable too as well. So yeah, there's a lot of companies that's really messing with foldable technology. Samsung pretty much has foldables on lock, right? When you think foldable technology, you think of the Galaxy Fold and the Galaxy Z Flip. It is. And like I've told people, Google and Samsung have created like a really close partnership in the last 2 years. And obviously, Samsung really, people can't just look at it and be like, well, Google and their Pixel lineup are so bad that they needed Samsung to fix all their problems. And so they're kissing Samsung's ass. That's furthest from the truth because Samsung really, really needed Google. They needed Google to optimize Android for a foldable display, right? You can create software all you want, but if it's not optimized to run on a specific type of a hardware, it's not going to run right. So they needed Google to write scripts, to write lines for Android to support a foldable display. And Google did that for them. In return, Samsung helped with the Tensor chip. I say helped because, again, at the end of the day, when Samsung had their hands involved in the development of the Tensor chip, it was by Google's blueprint that they built this thing. It wasn't specifically like, oh yeah, we're just going to take an Exynos chip and rename it Tensor and give it to you guys. This is actually a new chip. It's not a refurbished, repurposed, regenerated chip. It is a new chip. Samsung built, Google laid the schematics of what that chip needed to perform well in, which obviously was going to be in AI technology, and that's what they built it for. So yes, the Tensor chip, Samsung helped with. And now the Pixel Fold, obviously Samsung is going to help with. Now, funny, not going to throw the person under the bus. Funny how a person went on an entire rant on Reddit about the Pixel Fold and completely trashed it. Even going as far as referencing, and I hate to say this because someone's going to say some shit here, but the Escobar Fold, the cop-out skinned Samsung Galaxy Fold sold in South America from Pablo Escobar's brother to try and get into the mobile tech industry with fraudulent devices, right? We saw MKBHD take the Escobar Fold, and was it him or did he? I think he just got a video of it. One of the two, but they were able to peel the skin off the Escobar Fold, and it revealed the Galaxy Fold, the Galaxy Fold 1. And no, Google is not doing that. They're not skinning a Galaxy Fold and calling it a Pixel Fold. This is going to be a built device using Samsung's hinge technology for the Fold, but solely designed by Google, and it will bear all the necessities to really recognize it as a Pixel device, right? So one person was like, it's going to have a camera bar on the back of it. It possibly could. The back piece of the Pixel Fold, which would house the main camera sensor, would house the board, it would house, the battery, all that, would have a visor on the back of it, a camera bar visor, the same as the Pixel 6, 6 Pro, and the Pixel 7, and the Pixel 6a. It would have that. Why wouldn't it? They could switch it up and go back to the square camera module design that, was 2020 and 2019. That's right. The Oppo Find N was a nice alternative foldable, different form factor. Yeah, it was. Like I said, there's a lot of investments from various different tech companies into foldable devices. And so, Google is going to go into that trend. And of course, other people in time there will be an Apple device that folds. Okay, like just because Apple doesn't do it right away doesn't mean that Apple's not going to do it in the future. So yeah, that's a possibility, but we're hearing Pixel Fold to launch with the Pixel 7. Now, I'm hoping the Pixel Watch doesn't launch in October. I mean, yeah, it would be cool, right? It would be cool to have another Made by Google event. They start off with the Pixel Watch to launch. Then they go into the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro. And then they go into the Pixel Fold as the last thing of the event. I mean, and that would be basically 4 items to talk about. But I would much rather have like the Pixel Watch launch alongside the Pixel 6a. And they're already saying there's going to be a delay in the 6a. So they will unveil it. They will reveal it at I/O next week. But to launch the device for purchase, they said June probably. And I'm okay with waiting another month because it's going to take me some time to get these devices, right? The Pixel 6a, I definitely want to get that. I want to get it. I want to not only review it for you guys, but I want to use it as a daily driver. Don't get me wrong. I really, really enjoy my Pixel 6. I really do, but I always get afraid because the back of it is glass. And then when that breaks, it's a pain in the butt. With the front breaks, it's going to be a pain in the butt because as a lot of horror stories, replacing the screen on the Pixel 6 and your in-display biometric fingerprint sensor will never be the same again. So I'm afraid of that, because the in-display fingerprint sensor has been okay for me. I haven't used one in a Samsung to know how much faster a Samsung one is. I don't really care. When I put my thumb on my Pixel 6, it unlocks. I'm lucky enough to not have to keep repressing my screen to get a clear read to unlock the display. So that's been my luck. That's been my luck for me. But anyways, back to the Pixel Fold. So, whatever design that they come up with for the Fold, it's going to be fine. As far as what type of chip is it going to have, I would say it's going to have the Tensor 2. Why would it do anything else? People that are hoping for a Qualcomm chip back into a Pixel phone, like I get reasons why people would want that. But it's like, I don't know. I just find it so weird because in the early days of Pixels, that was one of the things that people were so mad at. They were like, oh, yeah, Google Pixel 3, Google Pixel 4, or the Pixel 2 and 2 XL, like great phones. But they'll never be able to compete with Apple because they don't make their own silicon. They don't make their own in-house chip. And now that Google's doing it, now everyone's like, no, go back to Qualcomm. Like, no. When you ask for something, it's going to come. And when it comes, you got to think Google put years of stock invested into making their own chip, right? MKBHD said it in his video where he outlined the entire timeline from Nexus through Google Pixels. And he said, if the pandemic had never happened, if we've never had the pandemic, the Tensor chip would have been in the Pixel 5. So it made sense why Google last minute switched off to just use the Qualcomm chip. But instead of mass ordering 800 series Qualcomm chips, they went with the 765G and put that into the phone, optimize Android to run buttery smooth on that, and it does. Even on the Pixel 5a, Android runs very smooth. So with that being said, it's going to have the Tensor chip too, which